So here we have it, folks. Nightingale, a brand new crafting, survival, up to 6-player co-op PvE game that just launched into early access on PC via the Steam and Epic stores for just $30. Big thank you to Inflection Games for sponsoring this beginner's guide video and giving me some quality time ahead of the game's early access launch. I'll leave a link down below in the video description if you'd like to pick it up. I want to start this video off with a bit of a game overview so you can understand what the main objective and overall goal of this game is, as it can be a little confusing. Please do note that there are chapter markers below, so if you don't want the game overview or you don't need the UI section, scroll to the 3rd chapter marker where we really get into starting your adventure in the realms. So how long you want to stay in a realm is really up to you, but if you want to progress the story, which ultimately advances your character and resources and potential, you need to open up new portals to more advanced realms. The game is going to start off by forcing you to go through 3 bypass realms, and these are just kind of small realms designed to teach you some of the basic mechanics fairly quickly. But after you get through these tutorial realms, you'll enter into an abeyance realm, which is basically where the real game begins. The main goal in this game is to reach the city of Nightingale through the portal system. To open portals, you need to craft what the game calls realm cards, and the schematics to these really important realm cards can be found in locations called sites of power, which are like these mini dungeons. To get inside a site of power, though, through its barrier, the game requires you to reach a certain gear score, which is achieved by crafting and equipping better gear. This is how the game incentivizes you, outside of just individual curiosity and fun, to craft and build and become more powerful. Once you reach that required gear score for a particular site of power, the site will open up. Clear it out, kill the boss, and at the end you'll be rewarded with schematics to craft new cards for more difficult and unique realms. Unlocking these sites of power in your abeyance realm is kind of the main objective here, as the more realms that you get to visit, the more schematics that you'll find to build cooler and better things, the more rare materials you'll find, the cooler creatures you're going to come across, and also, the further you get into the portal system, the more likely it is that you're going to find Nightingale. After you craft your new realm cards, you can then go to a portal on your map or build a portal, insert the cards into the card receiver, and voila! A portal opens up to a new realm. It's important to note, though, that you can craft and build and explore to your heart's desire in each realm. You don't have to leave the realm right when you craft a new realm card. And actually, even after you do leave a realm, you can come back to a previously visited realm by creating a portal using the same card combination as the realm that you previously visited. Also, many players will use their abeyance realm as their home base. Now, cards are pretty simple in this game. The first card inserted into a portal maker is a biome card. We have swamp, desert, or forest. At least those are the ones that I've seen so far. And then you insert a major card, which defines a realm's difficulty, its theme, creatures, encounters, and the merchants. These 2 cards make up the core of a realm. Now, there's also locations in each realm that are called realmic transmuters, and you can actually craft one of these machines yourself or find the one in your realm. Realmic transmuters allow you to play what the game calls minor cards, which give additional realm customization, such as making food effects last longer, or a card that increases strength and carrying capacity, a card that increases plant yield, or a card that creates storms, but also increases your character's potency with enchantments. There's a ton of minor cards in this game that you can find, buy, and craft to tailor your realm to suit your current needs. Now, before I get into gameplay tips and really helping you get started in your first realm, I do want to quickly go over the user interface. Do note that you can switch from the first-person perspective to the third-person perspective by simply hitting F5. I think I like the third person more, but I also like first person a lot too. Third person's still in an experimental stage, so sometimes it might work a little bit weird. But yeah, it's really easy to switch back and forth. Some of you may notice that the UI that I'm showing right now is different from what you saw from many players in the stress test a few weeks ago. And that's because Inflection has actually updated it a bit since then, and will likely continue to update and improve it over early access. Starting on the bottom left above the health bar is where you'll see your character's active conditions and status effects. My character is rested right now, which gives a boost to stamina and health regeneration. They're currently sheltered, which protects from environmental conditions, and when I hide by pressing left control on keyboard, it also shows that I'm hidden as well. Now, if I get wet or injured, those negative status effects will also show in this area. Now, whenever you eat food in this game, the temporary effects that food can reward show up right here below your HP bar. Do keep in mind that you can only have 3 unique timed food effects affecting your character at any given time. As you can see, I ate some raw meat, I ate cooked meat, and I also ate some mixed plants, all of which gave me instantaneous benefits, but they also are all giving me temporary stat increases. Typically, plants in this game give really good stamina benefits, and meat gives good HP benefits. So I'd say it's advisable early on to try to have a plant and a meat-based bonus active at the same time. Food makes a very huge noticeable difference in this game, and once you experience the active benefits and then feel what your character feels like after those benefits have gone away, you will understand. The red bar is your HP, the blue bar is your rest level, and over time this bar will slowly go down, but it can be refilled by simply clicking on your bed and doing a short or long rest. The game does short rests when it's daytime, and when it's nighttime you actually have the opportunity to do a long rest, which will bring you to morning time. If the resting bar depletes all the way, you will die, and also when it gets too low, you'll get negative status effects that lower your stamina levels. The green bar is your hunger level, and you simply just eat food to keep it up. Cooked food, of course, provides better benefits than raw food does. If your hunger bar depletes, like with the resting bar, you will die. And speaking of death, when you die in this game, you receive a temporary negative death effect, and all of the loot in your inventory, not the loot on your hotbar, will be dropped, and you need to go retrieve it, which will also take away that death effect. Your stamina bar only shows up when you're doing something that requires stamina, such as sprinting, using your tools, or climbing. I also want to note that umbrellas in this game allow you to glide when jumping off ledges, but as you glide, it drains stamina, so be careful. Your hotbar is bottom center, and on the left side of it will be your tools and weapons, which is for your main hand. On the right side will be offhand items such as food and torches and potions. To use an offhand item, select the hotkey and then press F. It's a bit different on controller, but you can check the key bindings in the game's settings. Do note though that the furthest box to the right on your offhand allows you to quickly use one offhand item by simply pressing Q. You don't have to select the hotkey first, and this is a really great slot to put health potions in. I like to keep one slot free on my offhand hotkeys, as when you switch to a main hand tool that is one-handed, such as the knife, the game automatically also takes out whatever you have selected with your offhand. It's nice at times to select an empty slot with your offhand, so when you pull out that one-handed main weapon or tool, you don't have to have a distracting item in your face from your offhand. To put both your main and offhand equipment away, simply press H. To the right of our hotbar, we have our chat log if you're playing multiplayer. This also serves as a bit of a record keeper for the amount of and type of items that you pick up and things of that nature. Very useful as you're farming to keep track of everything. And on the top of the screen, we have our compass, which is nice not only for the cardinal directions, but it's also nice because as you get close to things such as NPCs, they will show up on it. If we go into the world map, you can also set what the game calls map stamps by pressing right mouse click and then selecting a stamp. And these stamps will show up on your compass when you get close enough to an area that the stamp is placed. These are best used to just mark things on your map so you know where to return to if you need whatever was there. The world beacons, which are above the map stamps here, are unique in that these icons will show up in the world itself when you're wandering around. These are great to place on your current objective or place in an area on the map that you want to go to right now. Very helpful in keeping you running in the right direction. Since I have the map up, please note the travel to respite button, which is right here. This will allow you to fast travel at any time to wherever you set your respite point, and I'll talk more about that later in the video. Pressing tab brings us to several different menus. On the inventory tab, we can see what's in our backpack. These do not include items on your hotbar. If you want to place an item on your hotbar, just drag and drop. Also note at the bottom of your inventory, we have a way to sort items, and this is especially useful for helping you maintain good encumbrance levels, as you can see what's weighing you down. When you're encumbered in this game, you start to move slower and slower, and you cannot jump or dash. Next to this is a repair all button, and as long as you have the required essence, this will make it quick and easy to repair all of your equipment at once. You don't have to click individual items. The Realm Cards tab in your inventory contains all the cards that you have, including the minor cards, which can be used at those Realmic transmuters. And the Essence tab contains your Essence, which is basically this game's form of currency. There are different tiers of Essence. Now to the right over these tabs, we have a number which indicates our equipment rating according to what we currently have equipped and following this column down is where all of our equipped gear slots are. Heading to the guidebook tab, just note all of the sub-tabs here. Crafting tab can be quickly accessed by pressing C, the building tab by pressing B, and the journal by pressing J. There's also a challenges tab, which offers a lot for those completionists out there. We have a glossary for all of the different resources and materials for the realm that you're in, and a codex and a how to play tab, which both offer very useful resources for helping you understand the game. The traders tab right here will let you see what the various traders from different realms sell. Very useful later in the game when you have a ton of portals open with access to many different traders. And before we get into surviving in your first abeyance realm, I do want to quickly point out that in the settings under the video tab, you can increase your field of view for both first and third person, and you can change your key bindings around. Welcome to your first ever abeyance realm, and it's currently a rainy day in the forest biome for me. As you can see, the wet conditions building up when I'm not under shelter, and that will give you a negative status effect if you become wet. So after you finish the tutorial, you do get to choose if you want to start in a desert biome, a forest biome, or a marshlands biome. And I would actually recommend starting in the forest biome, as it's really convenient. You don't have to deal with long stretches of dry, arid land where there's nothing around. You don't have to deal with like diseased marshlands and things of that nature. The forest realm is actually a really nice realm to start in. Oh great, now it's hailing now. And when you stand in the hail, that actually damages you. As you can see right down here, hail, you're taking damage and your equipment durability is depleting, so I have to stay under shelter. What a poor day for me to be recording this tutorial. I do want to say though, if you have the umbrella, you can run around in these conditions and not be affected by the hail. Now when you first spawn in, it probably won't be a rainy, hail-y day like it is for me, but the NPC named Puck is going to give you the task of creating an estate cairn, which is this little structure right here. And basically when you want to build in an area, you're going to place an estate cairn down first. Go ahead and place that down right in the area where you spawn in and talk to him. Also, maybe make a shelter and a bed and a campfire so you can cook some food, because like I told you guys earlier in the video, you can have up to 3 active food conditions on your character at any given time. So I'm going to go ahead and eat some mixed plants. Now I have that benefit going. I'm going to eat some roasted meat, and then I'm also going to eat some raw mushrooms. And you guys can see in the bottom left, I have all 3 of those active now, giving me a huge boost to HP and of course stamina, which is really big. But I don't want to actually create like my first real structure in this starting area, because if I take a look at the map here, I'm actually on this island really far to the south, super far away from where the map is telling me the NPCs are, the traders, the portals on the map, etc. So I'm going to actually want to probably build my first real estate probably near the essence trader and also the first site of power. So after you've rested up, ate some food, and completed that task of creating your first estate cairn, you can go ahead and leave the area. You can leave everything up. You don't have to take the estate cairn down. You can place multiple of these on a single map. And I'm going to go ahead and head up towards where the site of power is and also the NPCs. And to make that easier, I'm going to right click in that area. And I'm going to set a world beacon down, which I can now see. So I'm running in the right direction at all times. All right, so I made it to the antiquarian site of power area where there's 3 NPCs, including one that you can actually recruit. And the first thing I'd recommend doing is getting that companion. These companions are super useful in this game, mostly because you can transfer all of your heavy inventory stuff into their inventory and they can carry it. Holy crap, we have a fey creature here. And this creature actually, after you kill animals and take down trees, this creature does like a wave of magic and will respawn all of them onto the map for you. And I actually believe later in the game you can actually have this creature form and then you can fight it and take the valuable, crafting materials that it drops. Really cool that we got to see that creature right now. But anyways, back to companions. Your companion can hold a ton of stuff for you as you're out farming. But your companion will also farm materials for you depending on what you have equipped on them. So to get the companion, you need to talk to Wilhelmina, this NPC right here. She'll tell you that you need to bring in some raw materials or resources here to create the 3 beds and also the campfire. All you need is some sticks, which you can get from the mini trees, plant fiber, and I believe some rocks, which you just find on the ground. Create that and then come over and talk to the recruitable companion. Now, the first thing I'd recommend doing here is actually going into their inventory and taking all of their clothes and then giving them your clothes. And to do that, all you got to do is grab their clothes, drop it in your inventory, equip it to your character, and then drag your clothes back to them. But when you drag your clothes back, make sure to right click on each individual equipment item and equip it. So you can see that little blue circle, otherwise it won't be equipped. Now, depending on what tool you have equipped on your companion will decide what that companion is going to do farming and crafting wise. So if you have an axe equipped on your companion, the companion will chop down trees as you're out and about. If you have a pickaxe, will mine rocks. Also really important to note is the essence trader, and the essence trader is going to sell a ton of things that you can craft on your own, but they're also going to sell schematics for things that you can't craft yet. So if we go under crafting, we have all these refinement tables, and we're going to want to get all of these, and also some of the crafting basics and repair. I currently don't have the recipe for making a simple sewing bench or a simple enchanter's focus. So one of the first goals that you're going to have in this game is going to be to save up enough essence to get all of these, so you can have like your first real full crafting setup. And to get essence in this game, you can basically break down anything in your inventory, anything that you pick up, anything that you mine. And all you gotta do is right click on it. We have 4 plant fiber right here. If I right click, I can extract, and that will yield 4 essence. Now with that said, there's certain items in this game that you can create, such as paper at a saw table, that will yield a ton of essence, and you can just get it really, really quick, but we're not at that spot just yet. But before we buy things from the essence trader, let's start creating our first real base. This is a survival game, so we have to have that shelter and a way to cook food, etc. readily available. And I'm going to keep my first base somewhat close to the NPCs and the antiquarian site of power. The first thing I have to do, of course, is lay down an estate cairn. So I'm going to press B on PC, click on the estate cairn, hit place, and then I'm going to put it, let's see, I'm just going to put it right here. That's probably good. And I'm going to go up to it and press E. And I actually don't have enough rocks or stone blocks to make it right now. So if I come here in the area, rocks are usually just sitting on the ground. I'm going to pick those up. And then also to get those stone blocks, I'm going to pull out my pickaxe, which you should already have from the tutorial section. And you can see Dorothy's actually mining with me. And I'm going to hit some of these rocks. Now, if you come across rocks like this that say 40, that just means you need a better pickaxe in order to mine that material. Now, one quick tip that a lot of players won't realize until they're like 5-10 hours into the game: you don't have to pick up every individual item that you farm. You can simply hold down E, and then you can see those little blue orbs came at my character. This is huge. I'm going to hold down E. I'm going to let Dorothy do all the hard work. I'm going to hold down E, and it puts those stone blocks into my inventory. All right, so the estate cairn has been formed, and the first thing that I want to do, I actually already did it, I wasn't recording, is you're going to hold down E, and you want to create a respite point. So wherever you go on the map, all you have to do is hit M, travel to respite, and it spawns you right back here. And since this is going to be my first official base, this is going to be my respite point for now. There's some other ways to fast travel in this game through, I think they're called fairy rings, but we'll talk about that in a future video. Now, since I'm in the forest biome, I'm going to build my first structure out of wood. There's just wood pretty much everywhere. And as you'll notice right here, I did build a quick stick tent. I put a bed down and I made a campfire, because as you're trying to figure this stuff out, it's going to take some time to get used to and learn the menus, etc. So having that shelter readily available and also being able to cook some food. Let me go ahead and put some fuel into this. Maybe I'll start something up here. We'll make some mixed plants. Having that readily available while you're figuring this out is probably going to be quite important for most players. Some of you guys are wondering, what the heck is this purple structure right here? Well, you can actually build the outline of what you want to build in this game without actually having the materials. Now, this isn't really there. I'm running through it, but you can lay it down just to kind of plan out what you want to do. And actually, when you get the materials, all I have to do is come up to the structure and just throw it all at the entire structure, and it will just build itself really quickly. But I do want to finish this quickly, so let me press B to go back into my build menu. I'm going to put down a crude slatted door frame right here, and instead of going back into my build menu right now and trying to find another wall, because I'm currently on the door, I'm going to press X, and you'll notice that the interface changes at the bottom of the screen. We have copy, move, and remove. This is a really nice mode to enter into when you want to move storage chests around, move crafting stations around, or in this case, I don't want to create another door, so I'm going to go up to the wall right here. I'm going to press Q to copy it, and then I'm back on the wall. So now let's go out and farm some plant fiber, some sticks, and also some tree bundles. And then I'm going to return and build this damn thing. All right, so I've been farming trees and plant fibers and sticks for probably about, oh, I just got hit by the tree that Dorothy knocked down, for probably about 5 minutes now. So I think I'm going to return to my structure. Now, do note that I did craft a makeshift axe for Dorothy and I equipped it on her because she at first had the mining pickaxe on and she wasn't chopping trees with me. Once I switched to the axe, she started chopping trees, and she's been picking up wood the entire time. Now, to save time, I'm just going to travel to Respite Point, even though I'm really close. That's going to drop us off right here. Let me run up to my structure, of which I did put a ceiling onto it. And we're going to hit E to auto add resources. And actually, Dorothy has all my resources, so come here, Dorothy. Oh, she's adding them. I want to add them, Dorothy. We're going to take everything. Actually, she's doing it for me. And there you have it. I've created my first pretty simple shelter. It's up to you how all out you want to go right away. I would just recommend doing something small and getting down some of the basic crafting stations so we can start pushing forward and becoming more powerful, because our main objective at this point is to unlock the Antiquarian Site of Power, which is that place. But in order to get through that barrier, we have to have a gear score of 20. Currently, my gear score is 8. So we got to boost that up a little bit by creating better equipment through crafting stations. So let me go ahead and hit B. We should already have some schematics for some basic crafting stations. As you can see, we have the campfire right here, simple tanning station, and the simple workbench. So I'm going to create the workbench first because I have wood bundles and plant fiber. I'm going to put it right here in front of that wall. We're going to place it down, go through the tutorial, and then I'm also going to set the tanning station right next to it. Perfect. Now we have some basic crafting stations here, and I actually need... Nope, there we go. That's been crafted. And let's see if I have any refinement tables. I don't even have a single refinement crafting station yet because I have to get those schematics from the essence trader. But since we have the workbench down and the tanning station, before I get into actually crafting, I'm going to go under storage here in the build menu. I'm going to place a storage chest on each side. Actually, we're going to do a couple. And we're going to do each side of each crafting station. This is a really nice way to stay organized, and when you go out and farm materials, you can offload them into chests near stations where those materials are going to be useful. So on the chest to the left, for example, let's say for the tanning station right here, which creates felt leather straps and a few other things, on the chest to the left of this station, I'll put all the hide that I've gathered from animals, and then the chest to the right, I'll put all the finished materials from the tanning station. Really quick, easy way to just help you stay organized in the beginning of the game. So now we have two basic crafting stations, and before I go to the essence trader and buy the schematics for more crafting stations, I'm going to just work with these two and master them so I don't feel overwhelmed. And also, these two stations actually work really well together. But before I start crafting, I'm going to want to place a campfire, because the campfire is going to give both of these stations some positive traits, such as being well lit and also being warm. And as you can see right here, the green lines tell me that the campfire is currently in range to positively affect both of these stations. If I move the campfire too far away, the green lines will break. We want to place the campfire probably right about here. We're going to create it, then I'm also going to light it or ignite it. And then if I go over to either of these crafting stations and hold down E, I can click the inspect right here, and you can see the workbench is currently sheltered, it's well lit, and it's warm, and all of these are reducing the refinement time. So positive traits really going to help you with your crafting, so make sure to take advantage of as many of them as you possibly can. Now, you don't have to use the campfire for everything. As you progress in the game, you're going to get lighting and other ways to warm things, but this is the way that you're going to want to start. All right, so let's go up to the workbench here and see what we can create. The workbench, you can create a bunch of simple tools and weapons. I recommend creating all of these. All of these are an upgrade to what you currently have, your makeshift tools. And also there's some new tools here. Climbing picks to scale mountains. And also you have the sling bow, which is really good in the forest biome to take out deer, which like to run away. So I'd recommend creating all of these first. Now, I don't really have all the materials here, so I'm going to have to go out and do a little bit of farming. But actually, I think I can create a sling bow. I have the wood bundles. I don't have the straps though. So if I go over to the tanning station here, you can see that I can actually create straps out of animal hide, of which I do have some hide right now because I killed some animals on my route to this site of power area. So let's go ahead and I'm going to click autofill, which is going to take the hide in my inventory. And I can actually create 3 right now if I want to. If I click the double arrows right here, it'll max it out. And then I simply hit craft. And then we just have to wait for the straps to be created. And as you can see, they're being created pretty fast because of all the positive traits that I have. And we're going to pick those up and head back to the workstation. And now I can actually create a simple sling bow. So I'm going to click autofill. Later in the game, you might not be using autofill as much because you can use different types of items and materials when you're crafting things that give different effects, but for now, autofill is going to be perfect. I'm going to craft that sling bow. And now I have the sling bow, but I also need ammo. So let's create some simple rock marbles out of simple rocks that you pick off the ground. And I can create 6 of them right now at the cost of just 1 bundle of rocks. And there you go. Let's go ahead and I'm going to place the sling bow in on my hotbar. Actually, it was auto-placed on my hotbar. Sometimes it does that. It's currently on hotkey 5. And let's go ahead and load this sucker up. If I hit R, it's going to load it up. And now we have a deadly ranged weapon. Not the best ranged weapon ever, but it's going to work for now. Now, I turned off my webcam so you could actually see in the bottom right of the screen whatever weapon or tool that you have out. Sometimes they have different special abilities. So as you can see in the bottom right, it's telling me that if I hold down right mouse click, it's going to aim for me. If I press R, it's going to reload. And then if I press V, I have like this little melee with the sling bow. Now, if I switch to the knife, those change up a little bit. Left click slashes, right click is an actual dodge that uses up stamina. And then F is my offhand because the knife is one-handed. If I go to my axe, you can see left click is attack, and then right click actually gives me this block right here. And as you get further into the game and you start enchanting items, which is like this game's version of magic, this is how you're going to use magic in the game. You're going to enchant a weapon to have a certain magical ability, and it's going to tell you in the bottom right what key you need to press to use that magic. So goal number 1 that I'm setting for players that are watching this video is to create all of those simple tools and weapons that we have available to us at the workbench. And all of these require stone blocks, wood bundle, and also straps. And to make straps, we need animal hide. So I wrote down stone blocks, wood, and also hide. Those are the 3 items that I'm going to go out and farm right now. I'm going to get my stone blocks with Dorothy and make sure to equip your companion with the pickaxe so they can help you out. I'm going to gather these and offload them into Dorothy's inventory, and she doesn't pick it up herself. Now, whenever you come across animals in this game or creatures, especially early on, you're probably going to want to wipe them and take their materials because you're going to need a lot of it. And sometimes you might be running around and you don't find any creatures for like 30 seconds to a minute or so. So anytime you see them, it's good to kill them. And do note that if you can get a heart shot with the sling bow, you can actually one-shot several different creatures in this game. I'm not sure if it works with the wolves. Yep, it does actually. And that saves you a lot of time, and also saves you the effort of having to chase down deer, which like to run from you. Now, also notice in combat too, you can get headshots. So when you're swinging at opponents, if you can hit them right in the head, you get that critical damage right there. And creatures in this game are also weaker and also more vulnerable and also more resistant to certain types of weapons. So when you're attacking creatures, take note of how much damage you're doing. If it doesn't seem like it's that good, switch from your axe to your pickaxe, for example. Or when you make a maul, which is like another blunt weapon, you might be better off using that. After you kill your creatures, you want to take your knife and you got to aim it at the creatures a little bit harder in the third-person view. And then you get your meat, your bones, and also your hide. I'm going to hold down E to pick all of that up and make sure that I also loot the wolf over here. Do note that when you use tools like the sickle, you actually do get some more yield out of the plants here. So when I'm swinging around right here, I'm getting usually 2 to 4 plant fibers, but if I pick them by hand, it's 1 to 2. Now, with that said, it does actually require stamina to swing your sickle. So I would advise swinging the sickle, and when you run low on stamina, then you just start spamming the E button to pick up plant fiber. All right, so I farmed quite a bit of resources here. So I'm going to press the M button because I'm kind of far away from home. We're going to travel to Respite. And I'm going to head right into my base here and start making those straps that we need. I'm going to craft as many as I possibly can. I can make 12 right now. Perfect. And we're going to let those craft. But actually, since I don't have the campfire on, let me go ahead and light that up quickly. And there we have it. My 12 straps that I just crafted. Let's go to the workbench. And I need to actually grab some stone blocks from Dorothy here. Hello, Dorothy. This is going to make me move super slow when I pick these up right here. 58. I don't know if I'm going to even be able to move. Yes, I am. This is why I suggest putting crafting stations close to one another, because sometimes you'll have this. And you want to be close so it doesn't take you forever to get to another station. And here we go. I can craft all of the tools right now. I think I have enough supplies for all of them. Let's start with the climbing picks. And I have all of my new simple tools. And I'm, of course, going to replace them with the makeshift tools that I have down here. And this is going to up my gear score. That already put me up to 18. We're only 2 away from unlocking that antiquarian site of power. All right, so we did our first major gear upgrade, aside from stealing Dorothy's clothes at the start of the game. And now we're going to head over to the Essence Trader near the antiquarian site of power. We're going to grab a very important schematic. Now, we're going to want to get all the schematics from this guy, but we probably don't have a ton of essence right now. Maybe some of you guys will at this point, but I'm going to show you guys a really quick way to get this currency super fast. You just have to get the schematics for one crafting station, and that is called the saw table. Now, the quest is telling you to buy the sewing table right now. If you have enough, you can buy the sewing table, but really, I'm going to show you guys something pretty awesome right here. So let's go to refinement. Simple saw table is 55 essence, of which I don't have. So let me just extract some of these sticks. And I'm going to grab that right now. And then we're going to head back to my base. And we're going to place that down within range of this campfire so I can get those positive traits. That seems like a good spot. And I actually need some animal fiber. So let me go to the tanning station. We'll make a few of those. I think I needed 4. We'll craft 4 of those. Dorothy's on fire, and there we have it. We have our simple saw table. Now, the reason why this is so great is because you can create paper, and all that you need for paper is wood bundles. Let's see if I have any. I have 100 wood bundles right here. Watch this. So right now, I currently have... my essence is at 42. So let's go to the simple saw table, and I'm taking my 100 wood bundles, which you just simply get from farming trees. I'm going to autofill, and I'm going to craft 50 right here. And we're going to let that go. All right, so those 100 wood bundles turned into quite a lot of paper here. And I'm going to extract all of this paper. 100 paper yields 200 essence dust right here. We're going to do that for all of them. Extract, 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 and extract. And now I went from what? 43 essence to 1,242 essence. This is huge. This is a great way to start the game earlier on when you don't have a ton of crafting stations. So we're going to head back to the Essence Trader, and I'm going to buy up all of the simple weapons and tools schematics, and also all of the simple crafting stations and the refinement stations. So let's go to crafting refinement. We're going to buy the smelter. We're going to buy the mortar station, the spinning wheel, and the masonry bench. And then under basics, we still need the sewing bench, which is part of our main quest right now, and the enchanter's focus, which is really important. And let's go to simple items. We also want to buy the maul schematic, the hammer schematic, the fishing rod schematic, and the umbrella, of course, which will protect us from certain environmental conditions. And also you can pull out the umbrella and kind of jump off high ledges, and it drains your stamina while you glide across the map. So I put down all of those new crafting stations, the basic ones and also the refinement stations. You notice that some of these crafting stations require more resources and materials that you haven't worked with yet, such as lumber and animal fiber. So to make lumber and animal fiber is made at the tanning station, which I just picked up. And to make lumber, I'm going to the saw table. I'm going to take wood bundles and craft lumber. Now, the only station that might throw you for a little bit of loop here is the enchanter's focus station, which requires ingots and glass. And both of those can be crafted at the smelter right here. But do keep in mind that some crafting stations have 2 sections to them, such as the campfire. You have to ignite the fire before you can cook. Over at the smelter is the same way. You have to ignite the smelter and then you can actually craft. As you can see right here, I can make glass out of gems, and I can also make ingots out of ore. Both of these items, these materials, can now be farmed because I upgraded my weapons from the makeshift pickaxe to the simple pickaxe. So if I go out now, there's going to be more things that I can actually mine, such as this right here, which is tin ore. And then we also have some quartz deposits here, which are the gems that we need. So let's go ahead and mine those. We'll pick those up. And now I have both ore and raw gems. So we should be able to craft the ingots and the glass. See what it tells us. Go to the smelter. And we can make glass. Yep. Make 3 glass. We'll craft those. I need 5 glass actually, and then 2 ingots. So we're gonna have to go back out and farm some more quartz, which is fine. So now I have the required resources, and we're gonna craft the enchanter's focus, which can be used to enchant weapons with these cool little magical abilities. It's also used to craft realm cards. Before we get into doing that stuff, we want to focus on getting our gear score a little bit higher. That's your primary goal in the beginning of the game, not only just for the main quest in unlocking the site of power, but for powering up your character a little bit before you go before you go do too many crazy things. So we focused on the workbench first to create those simple weapons and tools. And we actually have a few simple weapons and tools that I still have yet to create. But the next station that I'm going to focus on is the sewing table, because if we take a look at the sewing bench, we can now create simple gear. Once I create the simple gear here, we're going to be well over that gear score of 20. And to create simple gear, we need plant fiber, which you just get by picking up plants, really simple, and also leather, which we can create at the tanning station. So we're going to create as much leather as I possibly can. My leather has been crafted. Let's go ahead and start off by creating, let's start off with that. I'm going to make one. And then I'm going to equip that, and you're going to see, go into my inventory. This has a gear score of 20. What I currently am wearing has a gear score of 16. There's also all sorts of different attribute bonuses. As you get further into the game, you can start tailoring equipment to your personal play style, but that's a little bit advanced, like depending on the materials that you use to craft things, etc. We're not going to talk about that in this video, so I'm going to go ahead and equip that. And now I have a gear score of 19. I'm back out farming some more materials to make some more gear. As you can see, it's hailing. I would recommend creating the umbrella fairly early on so you can have that and pull it out when things like this happen. But since I don't have the umbrella right now, I'm just going to quickly create a little stick tent to save me for the time being. Also note that if you get some wicks from killing some enemy humanoids on the map, you can then make candles. And you can place the candles on actual crafting stations, which is kind of cool. Just like that. Now we have a candle right there. I don't know if that's smart to have it right next to your sewing wheel, but kind of funny though. I just crafted the gloves and I now have a gear score of 20, which was our goal here for the main objective of the game. Obviously you want to craft all of the simple clothes and all the simple weapons. But now that we have a gear score of 20, as you guys can see, this antiquarian site of power, actually you can't see it, still looks like there's a barrier, but you can actually walk through that barrier now. Complete the little mini dungeon, kill the boss at the end, and then you're going to get schematics to craft some new realm cards. And then you make those realm cards right here at the Enchanter's Focus table. And this is going to allow you to travel through portals to new realms. When you create a new realm card, you simply go to the portal on your map. Eventually, you'll be able to craft your own portals. Look on your map, and you'll be able to find it. And then you insert the cards, and then you can go through the portal into a new realm. As you progress in the game, the realms are going to become more difficult, more unique, and there's going to be much more rare materials and cooler bosses and cooler creatures and things of that nature. But you can always return back to your previously visited realms, including your abeyance realm, and this is probably going to be like my home base realm for a little while. Obviously, there's a lot more to do than what I went over in this video. This video was very beginners focused. I built a very basic structure here with basic crafting stations, but I think this hopefully will help you get started in the right direction so you don't feel as overwhelmed. If I take a look at the map here, I can't see too much on the map in terms of icons, but if you find the Fey Tower on the map and you clear it out, you finish it, all the icons on the map will be revealed, and you can see all the different things that you can do in a single realm. We have Bastilles of Intellect, Bastilles of Might, there's like these little puzzles, there's Fey portals that lead to vaults, we have more sites of power to eventually work up to taking over, there's little secret caves and things of that nature, all sorts of rare materials to find, and all that fun stuff. But really happy to bring this video today to you guys. Thank you to Inflection Games for sponsoring this video and letting me get some time with this game before it actually releases, and it should be out today. I do have a link in the video description if you're interested in purchasing it. It only costs $30. I also want to say that I've genuinely been enjoying myself in this game. I never take sponsorships where I'm required to say something like that. I can't wait to progress further because I really want to reach that area that's called the Watch that Inflection talked about in their trailer video, which is like a social hub, and you can get quests and group up with other players to do Apex dungeons, which are like super hard vaults from what I understand. Really excited to get to that point in the game. You can of course group up with players after you finish the tutorial before that, but it's really cool that there's this social hub that we get to eventually get to see other random players running around. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.